Welcome back to the containment unit. Today's video is about weathering the pack, and I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a mess. Pun intended.
Open, unlock the system, insert the trap, release, close, lock the system, set your entry grid, neutralize your field, and...
Seriously, the video is actually kind of a mess right now. I actually spent the last few hours weathering the pack, and I filmed it, and I got about probably 20 minutes of good usable footage that I was gonna use, but I realized it looks okay. It's not the best, and there's plenty of videos on how to weather a Proton pack. You've probably seen them, so I am gonna say yes, I did some dry brushing. And here's a shot from the reference library. I was actually trying to match some of the scratches, some of the weathering. Here's where I did some wet brushing, just dabbling it on the stickers and things like that. Here's where I went and I just painted in some of the cracks and then wiped it out with a rag. And here's where I used some of that rub and buff. But none of this is new, none of this is anything you've seen before, and that's the whole point of my channel, is I want to do things you haven't seen before. So I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to come up with some new ideas on how to weather the pack, things you haven't seen yet. So let's get started on that. I did a quick segment where I want to show you guys how I put these wires into the vacuum hose. I'm going to play that. Before I get into painting, I want to add some electrical tape. I'm looking at a couple pictures where they have that, and they have the wires coming out of here. So let me get on that and then I'll start working on the painting. So in my electrical box, I have a bunch of colors of electrical wire that you've seen me use. I have different types of tape, but I also have a bird's nest of random wires that I swear someday I'm gonna use.
And here's where I keep assorted lengths of wire.
And this is the perfect opportunity. I can finally use them. I'm just gonna cut them to length and stick them in here. It looks like 2 red wires, 2 orange wires, a yellow wire, white wire, I don't even know what this is from, a yellow wire. So I think last year or the year before we put together all our random wires in a bag. I found this USB to USB-C. I know we have dozens of these, so I'm going to use this. I don't want to cut up what I think might be a Talent Cell charger, even though I know I have more than one. But anyway, this is what I'm going to use. Looking at the library, it looks like the cut starts about here and goes down into here. The wires don't go that far, but the cut does. Here's where I've got it. This thing cuts incredibly easy, so careful. All right, so I've got everything cut. Probably about 5 or 6 inches. Just a bunch of random wires together. Then I took some more of that black and wrapped it in blue tape. And the black ones, the 2 black ones, are a little bit longer than the other ones because I want to use that to kind of tape everything to at the end. Here is my lovely mess of wires, and I'm just going to stick it in the slit, and then I'm probably just going to hot glue it. There's some more electrical tape. There's blue on this HGA hose, there's red on the HGA wire. I'm not going to make you guys watch me tape things, but let's get into painting. All right, we're back upstairs in the garage. Time to start weathering the pack. So some of you might remember the video where I weather this flight suit. If you do, I'm sure you remember this. If you don't, go watch the video. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully the video is on screen. I'm not very good at YouTube, but I'm challenging myself to get better. So it might be here or it's definitely in the description. Either way, we're gonna start working on this. So this is my mixture of used motor oil, Aquaphor, and soot. It worked great on the suit. Hopefully it's gonna work on the pack. So let's get started. I'm just gonna go and use the usual weathering techniques. looked like it got dirty with maybe motor oil and soot, and then I did a bad job of wiping it off. The thing about this pack is you really can't do too much. However, there are a few spots that I'm going to want to avoid. So in my own headcanon, this would not be very dirty because it was covered up for so long. And I'm going to be completely honest, I don't understand why Phoebe took it off to do the cyclotron. But in my headcanon, this would be relatively clean. All right, I'm going to let that set for a minute. Now I want to get to the fun part. The bronze dripping. So you remember in one of my videos where I was explaining that I have dripping onto the actual inner coils because they would have been dripping bronze in there, and that's why there's bronze dripped on the pack? I want to try and simulate that. So I pulled up a picture and I'm noticing two things. First off, the way the bronze kind of like, the angles that it comes in and where it's on the pack. And also, I never made an end filter. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into the bronze dripping first. Okay, all right, so mostly up here and then some down here and a little here and here. Okay, cool. So, dear Gozer, please don't let me ruin my garage, suit, or pack. And also don't tell my wife. That was a lot of fun and super easy to do. I'm glad that I did that. All right, so this thing is just dripping with paint, literally, and motor oil. So I'm gonna let it sit out in the sun for a little while and come back later. But I think this thing is pretty much weathered. While that's out there, I'm just gonna hit up the cyclotron cake for a minute. I got the pack back inside and I love it. These effects you are not gonna get with paint. This concoction that I made with the soot and the oil, I should have never told anybody what it was. I should have just bottled it and sold it. It's that good. But I love the way it looks. I love the way the drips came out. The only problem I'm seeing is that the drips were just paint, so you can see the texture coming through from the texture pack. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it like that or if I'm gonna try to do something else. Either way, this is just about ready for Ghostbusters Day. So that's gonna be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I think it was a pretty short one. But now I have to go back downstairs and finish the assembly video. So let me go do that. And I will see you guys next time in the containment unit.